Ladies and gentlemen, in life, every one of us has faced moments of disrespect, times when someone undermined our worth, questioned our integrity, or belittled our efforts. The pain of these experiences can feel overwhelming, and the natural instinct is often to react, to defend, to fight back. But let me remind you of a powerful truth God sees. He sees every slight, every insult, and every injustice. He is the God who watches over his children with unwavering love and attentiveness. The disrespect you endure is not hidden from him. And when you trust him enough to walk away, you position yourself for something extraordinary, his divine intervention. God's omniscience means he sees and knows everything, every thought, every action, every motive. There is nothing hidden from him, no secret too obscure, no injustice too small for his attention. His eyes are not just on the vast universe he created, but on every individual, every heart, and every situation. This all-encompassing knowledge gives us confidence that he is fully aware of what we face, including the moments when others fail to treat us with the respect we deserve. When we think of God's sovereignty, we recognize that he is not just an observer. He actively governs the universe, orchestrating events and circumstances according to his divine will. He is not passive in his power. Rather, he is intricately involved in every detail of our lives. His sovereignty assures us that nothing happens by accident and that he has the ability to bring order, justice, and purpose out of chaos and wrongdoing. This understanding of God's omniscience and sovereignty helps us see that even the disrespect or mistreatment we endure is not beyond his notice or control. Every word spoken against us, every act of disregard, every attempt to disregard, every attempt to undermine or belittle you is seen by God in its entirety. More importantly, he sees the heart behind it, the intentions, the struggles, and even the brokenness of those who act against us. This perspective shifts our focus from reacting to the offense to trusting in the one who sees it all. While we may feel the urge to defend ourselves or seek immediate justice, God's omniscience reminds us that he is already aware and has the full picture in ways we never could. He sees the long-term consequences of every action, the impact on everyone involved, and the ultimate resolution that will bring justice, healing, and growth. Through his sovereignty, God not only sees but also works. He uses situations, even painful ones, to shape his purposes. What may seem like an unfair or disrespectful encounter to us is not wasted in his hands. He is able to weave even the most difficult moments into a tapestry of redemption, using them to reveal his power, his justice, and his love in ways that often surprise us. Trusting God in silence requires a level of faith that transcends our natural instincts. It's in our human nature to want to respond, to explain, to defend ourselves when wronged. Silence, however, feels unnatural. It feels like surrender, like giving up the power to control the narrative. Yet, in that silence lies an incredible opportunity to demonstrate trust in God's ability to work on our behalf. Choosing silence in the face of adversity is not about weakness or passivity. It's an intentional act of faith, a declaration that God's wisdom and power far exceed our own. It acknowledges that our perspective is limited, while God sees the end from the beginning. When we choose not to speak or act impulsively, we allow space for God to move in ways that are higher, deeper, and more effective than anything we could accomplish on our own. There's a sacredness to silence when it is rooted in trust. It becomes a space where God's presence is invited to dwell. In those quiet moments when words are withheld and emotions are surrendered, we often experience a profound intimacy with God. Silence allows us to hear his voice more clearly, to lean into his guidance, and to draw strength from his promises. It's in this quiet communion that we find the assurance that he is working, even when we cannot yet see the results. Trusting God in silence also cultivates patience, a virtue that is often tested in the face of disrespect or injustice. Silence teaches us to wait for God's timing, wait for his intervention, wait for his wisdom to unfold. It reminds us that rushing to act or speak can sometimes cause more harm than good, while waiting allows God's plans to take shape in ways that are perfect and complete. In silence, we are reminded of the many examples in Scripture where God called his people to be still. Whether it was Moses standing before the Red Sea, hearing God say, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." or Jesus himself, who stood silent before his accusers, there is a pattern of divine power revealed through restraint. These moments of silence are not void of action, rather, they are pregnant with God's purpose and power. When we choose to trust God in silence, we also demonstrate a strength that speaks louder than words. Silence, when paired with faith, has a way of disarming hostility and confusing those who expect a reaction. It shifts the focus from the conflict at hand to the deeper spiritual reality at work. In this way, silence becomes a powerful testimony of our confidence in God's ability to defend and vindicate us. The power of restraint and walking away is one of the most profound demonstrations of inner strength. It takes far more courage and discipline to restrain oneself in the face of disrespect than to retaliate or react impulsively. Restraint is not a sign of weakness, but an act of mastery over one's emotions, a choice to rise above the situation and not be enslaved by the need for immediate vindication. Walking away is an act of wisdom, recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting and not every word deserves a response. It's about choosing your peace over unnecessary conflict, preserving your dignity, and maintaining control over how you respond to provocations. Walking away doesn't mean that you're conceding or admitting defeat. It means that you value yourself enough to step out of a situation that doesn't serve your higher purpose. In moments of restraint, there is a silent power that speaks volumes. When someone expects anger and you respond with calm, or when they anticipate confrontation and you choose peace, it creates an impact that words alone cannot achieve. Your restraint reveals a deeper strength, one that comes from self-control and the understanding that true power isn't about overpowering others, but mastering yourself. Walking away also protects your energy. Conflict, especially when fueled by disrespect or negativity, can drain you emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. By choosing to walk away, you're setting boundaries, affirming that your well-being is more important than proving a point or engaging in a battle that serves no purpose. This act of self-respect not only shields you, but also sends a message to others about what you will and will not tolerate. Restraint and walking away also allow room for perspective. In the heat of the moment, emotions can cloud judgment, leading to words or actions that might later be regretted. By stepping away, you create space to reflect, to pray, and to seek wisdom before making any further decisions. This pause can often bring clarity, helping you see the situation for what it truly is and respond in a way that aligns with your values and faith. Moreover, there's a divine principle at work when you choose restraint and walking away. By not taking matters into your own hands, you leave room for God to act. It's a way of saying, this is not my fight. I trust God to handle it. This kind of surrender invites God's intervention, which is always far more effective and transformative than anything we could achieve through our own efforts. In every instance of restraint, there is an opportunity to grow. It strengthens character, builds patience, and fosters humility. Walking away is not an escape, but a choice to operate on a higher plane, where peace, wisdom, and faith guide your actions. It's an acknowledgement that your value and purpose are too significant to be diminished by the pettiness or negativity of others. God's justice operates on a level far beyond human understanding. While our reactions are often driven by immediate emotions, anger, hurt, or a sense of being wrong, God's justice is rooted in perfect wisdom and timing. It is complete, addressing not only the visible wrong, but also the unseen complexities of every situation. Where human reaction is often impulsive and short-sighted, God's justice considers the full picture, the intentions of the heart, the circumstances that led to the wrongdoing, and the ultimate outcome that will bring restoration and redemption. Human reaction, though natural, is frequently flawed. When we're disrespected or wronged, the instinct to retaliate can cloud our judgment. We may lash out, escalate the conflict, or act in ways that, rather than resolving the issue, create new problems. These reactions often stem from a desire for immediate vindication, a need to assert our worth or prove our point. Yet these responses can sometimes lead to unintended consequences, leaving deeper wounds or perpetuating cycles of negativity. God's justice, in contrast, is not limited by emotion or time. He is patient, ensuring that his actions are measured and purposeful. His justice is not just about punishment, it is about restoration, correction, and ultimately bringing good even out of bad situations. When we trust in his justice, we step back from the need to control the outcome, allowing him to work in ways that are beyond our capacity to orchestrate. One of the profound differences between human reaction and God's justice lies in the depth of his understanding. We see only a fragment of the picture, a single event or interaction, while God sees everything. He knows the hidden motives, the pain or brokenness behind someone's actions, and the lessons that can be drawn from every trial. This omniscient perspective enables him to administer justice in a way that is both fair and redemptive. Our reactions, even when well-intentioned, are often rooted in self-interest. We want to defend ourselves, protect our reputation, or satisfy our sense of fairness. But God's justice operates on a higher plane, one that considers not just our immediate feelings, but the eternal consequences of every action. His justice seeks not only to address wrongs, but to transform hearts, heal wounds, and bring about reconciliation. By relying on human reaction, we often limit what God can do in a situation. Our interference can disrupt his plans or delay his timing. But when we choose to trust him, surrendering our desire to react and instead allowing him to move, we open the door for outcomes that are far greater than anything we could achieve on our own. God's justice is not only about making things right, it is about doing so in a way that glorifies him and reveals his love and sovereignty. In every instance where we are tempted to react, there lies an opportunity to witness the power of God's justice. His ways are higher than ours, and his timing is always perfect. When we let go of the need to respond immediately and instead trust in his ability to act, we allow him to work in ways that bring true resolution and lasting peace. Disrespect is a painful experience, but within it lies an opportunity for profound growth and self-discovery. Every instance of being disrespected carries with it lessons that shape our character, refine our values, and deepen our understanding of ourselves and others. While it may feel unfair or unjust in the moment, disrespect can be a teacher, pushing us to rise above circumstances and align with a higher purpose. One of the primary lessons in disrespect is the development of resilience. Facing moments of disregard or belittlement can feel like an attack on our worth, but enduring these moments strengthens our ability to stand firm in our identity. Resilience grows when we refuse to let others' opinions or actions define us, learning instead to draw our value from unshakable truths rather than external validation. Disrespect also teaches humility. It challenges us to respond in ways that reflect grace rather than pride. When someone disrespects us, the immediate reaction might be to retaliate, but choosing humility allows us to rise above the pettiness of the situation. It's an opportunity to show that our strength is not in tearing others down, but in remaining grounded, even in the face of adversity. Another lesson found in disrespect is the cultivation of patience. These experiences often force us to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively. Patience becomes a tool that allows us to evaluate the situation, understand the motives behind the actions, and consider the best course forward. Over time, this patience not only benefits us, but also sets an example for others, showing that measured responses can diffuse conflict and promote peace. Disrespect also pushes us to examine our own behavior and attitudes. It prompts questions like, how do I respond to others in similar situations, or have I ever unintentionally disrespected someone? These reflections can lead to greater self-awareness and empathy, helping us understand the perspectives of others and fostering relationships built on mutual respect. There is also a lesson in forgiveness within moments of disrespect. Forgiving someone who has wronged us is not easy, but it is essential for our emotional and spiritual well-being. Disrespect provides the opportunity to practice letting go of bitterness and extending grace, recognizing that forgiveness is more about freeing ourselves than excusing the other person's behavior. Disrespect often reveals the importance of boundaries. It teaches us to identify what we will and will not tolerate, empowering us to stand firm in our values while maintaining our peace. Setting boundaries is not about creating division, but about establishing a framework for healthy interactions and ensuring that we protect our emotional and mental space. Disrespect is a reminder of the power of perspective. While it may feel personal, it often says more about the person showing disrespect than it does about the one receiving it. Learning to view these moments through this lens allows us to respond with compassion rather than anger, recognizing that the behavior of others is often a reflection of their own struggles or insecurities. In these ways, disrespect becomes more than just a negative experience. It transforms into a catalyst for growth, an opportunity to strengthen virtues like patience, humility, and forgiveness, and a reminder to stand firm in our identity while treating others with the same respect we desire. The testimony of God's intervention is a powerful reminder of his faithfulness, sovereignty, and ability to work in ways that far exceed human understanding. When we encounter situations of disrespect, injustice, or adversity and choose to trust God, rather than rely on our own strength, we often witness his divine hand moving in ways that not only address the issue, but also bring about transformation and restoration. God's intervention often unfolds in ways that are unexpected. While we might hope for an immediate resolution, his plans are typically more intricate, working through the layers of a situation to bring about an outcome that is both just and redemptive. These moments remind us that his thoughts are higher than ours, and his timing is always perfect. Even when the wait feels prolonged, the ultimate result of his work often leaves no doubt that his involvement was orchestrated with divine precision. One of the most profound aspects of God's intervention is its ability to vindicate without our involvement. When we step back and allow God to take control, he often resolves matters in ways that silence critics, expose truth, and uphold righteousness. This kind of vindication is deeply impactful because it is undeniable. It cannot be attributed to coincidence or human effort. It leaves a testimony that God sees, cares, and acts on behalf of his people. God's intervention also serves to transform not just the circumstances, but the hearts of those involved. While human reactions often seek retribution or punishment, God's justice goes further, aiming to bring healing and change. In many instances, its intervention leads to reconciliation, showing that his ultimate goal is not division, but restoration. This transformative aspect of his work leaves a lasting impact, often fostering forgiveness and deeper understanding among those affected. Another remarkable element of God's intervention is how it turns moments of pain or adversity into opportunities for growth and blessing. What may seem like an insurmountable challenge or an unfair situation can become a platform for God to demonstrate his power and glory. In these moments, he not only resolves the issue, but also elevates and blesses those who trust him, often bringing them into a better place than they were before the trial began. The testimony of God's intervention extends beyond the individual. It inspires and encourages others who hear it. When people witness or hear about God's work in someone's life, it strengthens their own faith and reminds them of his ability to act in their circumstances as well. These stories of divine intervention often serve as beacons of hope, pointing others toward the power of trusting God and allowing him to work in their lives. God's intervention is also marked by its ability to bring clarity and purpose. In the midst of a trial, it can be difficult to see how anything good could come from it. But as God moves, he often reveals the deeper purpose behind the situation, showing how even the most challenging moments can serve as part of his greater plan. This revelation not only brings peace, but also reinforces the truth that nothing is wasted in God's hands. The evidence of God's intervention reminds us of his intimate involvement in our lives. It shows that he is not a distant deity, but a loving and attentive father who cares deeply for his children. His actions on our behalf are a testament to his character, faithful, just compassionate, and omnipotent. These moments become milestones in our spiritual journey, serving as tangible reminders of his presence and provision. In moments of disrespect, adversity, and injustice, it can be tempting to react out of hurt, frustration, or the need for vindication. But as we've explored today, God sees it all, every slight, every injustice, every moment of pain. He calls us to trust in his omniscience, lean on his justice, and find strength in walking away, choosing silence, or demonstrating restraint. These acts are not signs of weakness, but profound declarations of faith, allowing God the room to work in his perfect way and timing. Through these experiences, we learn resilience, humility, patience, and forgiveness. We see God transform what was meant for harm into a testimony of his power and love. And as he intervenes, his justice not only vindicates, but also restores, heals, and brings about reconciliation that surpasses our human capabilities. Let us remember that every challenge, every moment of disrespect is an opportunity to grow, to witness God's sovereignty, and to stand as living proof of his faithfulness. When we choose to trust him, even in the silence, we position ourselves to experience his divine intervention and share testimonies that inspire others to place their trust in him. Thank you all for taking the time to reflect on these truths today. May we leave here encouraged, strengthened, and more confident in God's ability to work on our behalf. Thank you, and may God bless you abundantly.